Hello, everybody. You know what time it is. I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntext Live. I hope you guys are doing really well. And hold on. I think somebody's pulling up. One moment. Who might that be? What's going on? Somebody outside? I had to do that because before we even got started, we got a $20 super chat from Brian Kemp, our glorious motorcycle riding motherfucker. And he says, greetings, everybody. Thank you for the great stories. Well, you are quite welcome. And thank you for the super chat as well. Make sure you guys let me know if for some reason the video or audio quality goes to shit, because we're supposed to have some storms rolling in. Hopefully it holds off until we're done. So let's get this party started just right.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
All right. All right. I see our usual crew is in here. We got Doug, we got Alan, we got Sniper, we got Brian, we got Erica, we got everybody here. So let's get this party started. All right. First things first, again, thank you guys for everything you're doing. As a reminder, Chris, he sent in his super chat earlier, or his donation earlier, so he still gets a shout out. I know maybe he's busy with a little bit of Prozac and pancakes. Who knows? All right. As far as the week is gone, guys, I'm sorry I haven't been all that active this week, and there's kind of a big reason the past couple of days. Over the weekend was family, and you guys know how that takes. Every time you have a weekend, you think you're gonna get stuff done, something freaking happens. So there was that. I put out the video game compilation. If you guys missed it, I did not make a thumbnail for it, so I kind of just threw it together this month. Next month, I'll do it a little more. I don't know how to put it. I'll just put it together better, guys. Just straight up better. Now, the thing is, yesterday when I put out the 2 videos, okay, I just about burned my skull open trying to get that because it was a busy day. I got myself a deer. A doe, a deer, a female deer, and it was right at the ray. A drop of golden sun was just over the horizon. Who shot at me? And that's the name I call myself. And she didn't run very far because I got a through and through on her lungs. She got about maybe 2 bounds, and then she spun around, dropped, kicked once, and she was done. So, yeah, spent most of the day, I was either writing or processing. So, yeah, that was all sorts of fun. Didn't sit down the entire day. And we got some, who is that? Somebody saying,
greetings, mortals and other assorted beings. I regret that I won't be able to stay very long since I have to be up at 0200 Eastern Standard Time.
You are perfectly good there, Guardian. And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sending that in. You know, everything helps. And we also got a $10 super chat from Erica Gem. And she is so outrageous. So, and you know, God, you know what? I missed the, oh, I don't have it. I thought I had it on here and I don't have, damn it. I forgot to put it on my, I was going to say outrageous like 3 times. And then I was supposed to have a button lined up that says, you keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. But I couldn't get it to work. Anyway. She simply sends a super chat saying, thank you for everything. And thank you very much, Erica. Appreciate it very much. And again, thank you guys for being here. Now, I'm going to jump straight in, and we're going to go right into our first subject tonight, which has been the series that's been going on. Mercy is expensive. And yes, we are on part 6. A few people were questioning the enhanced interrogation techniques. Well, the thing with interrogation like that is fear works wonderful. Most are more afraid of what you're going to do, but sometimes you got to give them just a little bit just to get them going. Because if you don't want to waste time, sometimes the fear of losing something you're very, very attached to really gets people going. I won't say anything about where I might have learned such enhanced interrogation techniques. Although, if somebody wants to, maybe I'll show a lesson with the buck knife I just skinned that deer with. Anyways, probably the best purchase I've made in the past 3 months. sharp as fuck. I'm actually afraid to cut myself with it. Anyways, there was a few folks saying that I was going a little too far with the gore, perhaps. You guys got to let me know if I'm going too far, so I can either dial it back, crank it up. You know, I'm trying to find that sweet spot with you guys, but I need input to do that. And that's why you guys are here. That's why I love you so much. You guys do such a great job at that. I will say this. It was originally meant to be a little gory because of the season we just went. You know, All Hallows Eve. And we have a MTF guard.
Heresy! Remove this filth!
And he says, I sent you a good handful this time around. Enjoy them because I had just as fun. I'm sure that was just as much fun making them, even if half of them were accidents. Well, yes, I did get it. And I'm wondering if it's something like, say, oh, I don't know, this one.
Ziel getroffen! Ziel ausgeschaltet!
I swear, he loves to watch those planes go kablooey. And one thing they actually got right in that is the fact that I believe is a Su-27. That thing is their version of an A-10. That thing is very hard to shoot down. Moves like, I don't know, a sleepy hut from Star Wars, but it's really tough, and it carries a lot of ordnance. The only thing it doesn't have is the big gun and the titanium tub the pilot sits in. Or as they call the stick operator. All right. Let's see. Where was I? Yeah. So the gore in here, that was mainly for Halloween. That was already pre-written into the story when I started. Even though it's past Halloween, that's what it's there for. Somebody brought in the fact they didn't like the fact that a cat-type alien, a feline, was being taken care of. Oh, but cats are cute. A lot of people, like my dad, would say, cats are evil. Yeah, I can't say too much because I've seen them be some of the most destructive things ever. Now, somebody brought this up, and tell me if this is right because I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. A displacer beast apparently is a feline with tendrils sticking out of it. I looked it up, and it didn't look the same. Maybe somebody's artist rendering wasn't the same on that. I don't know. But that was interesting. Oh, here's one. Oh, yeah. By the way, Erica, this one is for you. Answer me this. Riddle me this. Why do you say if the guy has hyenas as pets, when they're in a spaceship, by the way, so they're not rolling in their own filth, how come he wouldn't be able to get a girl? Just asking for a friend. So, also, she mentioned that the metal spike, that the AI was lifting up a metal spike on the back and actually shot through the Xeno's hand, so he couldn't do anything. Oh, even my hand hurt on that. You know, when I was writing that, I actually got through the whole thing, and all of a sudden, the only thing going through my mind is, where is Francis? Because Deadpool did that when he was searching. He actually shoved the knife through the guy's hand, then knocked him down, ripping the guy's hand open. I was like, that must have been stuck in my subconscious. So anyway, let's see. Just as a reminder, or just to let you know, there's only one chapter left. It's not going to drop tonight. I have been beyond busy helping my dad out today. You guys know Wednesday's my busy day, my real busy day. It's hard to just sit down and write for a few hours and get everything out. Regardless, within the next day, probably within the next 24 hours, as soon as it's done, I'm going to post it. I'm not going to wait till midnight. I'm just going to put it out as soon as I got it. But because it is the next one, if there's any other requests, you guys got to let me know. And I will write them down on my wonderful notepad here, and I'll go in to see what I can do. And I know somebody was in the comment section before talking about ideas. Now, I still have all the old ones here. Oh, excuse me. And let's see. That was the clip marathon was talked about. There's 3 kobolds in a trench coat. Somebody. Oh, yeah. Here's the note. Soundboard Cartman saying, "You will respect my authority," and all that other fun stuff. Oh, Leonid, I know it has the gun. It doesn't have the same gun. It's not as destructive as ours. Plus, they don't have depleted uranium in theirs. But it is a ground attack aircraft. That's what it's designed to do. It is less than useless in a dogfight, though. All right. Since we were talking about the the felines, I thought you guys might find this funny. If you take alien felines, or like an alien feline type race or species, and you send them on drop ships as their engines are just rocketing through, and that's sending a sense of thunder, does that make them Thundercats? Just asking for a friend. Anyway, I just thought that'd be funny. I tried to get the actual just symbol, but you'd be amazed how hard it was just to find the Thundercat symbol just on the regular image search. I'm sure maybe if I actually Googled it instead of using something else, I'd probably find it. However, that's pretty much all I got as far as my stuff. It was pretty quick today. So let me just do a little traverse with this. I swear they can't be good for the bike. Although I have a feeling that a certain person, Brian, probably saw that and how bad his bike was getting hit and just went, oh, that's just wrong. All right. I don't know if you guys seen, but they have the new Witcher out, the new series. And I couldn't bring myself to actually put up a picture of the Witcher season 4 on there, because it is so bad. Oh, dear God. I was looking for the perfect soundbite for this. However, they have it locked up behind paywalls, because now it's not about the Witcher. It's about his, I guess, female replacement, that she's a Witcher too. And it's following her, and the actual original Witcher, he's a side character in his own series. I'm like, seriously, are we watching... Well, literally had 3 different series going through my head, but Castle was one of them. He was the title character, and yet he was the sub character. It's crazy. But now, guess what? The female Witcher is gay now. You know how I knew that was going to happen? Again, I wanted the one with Cartman saying, "Put a chick in it, make it gay and lame." What's she going to do? Lose a leg now? So she's more of a diverse character? Oh, you got to watch out for the message and all that other bullshit. It's no wonder Henry Cavill just walked away from this. It's horrible. Everybody I know who's Witcher fans refuse to watch it now. Just straight up refuse. They can't stomach it. And it's just absolutely nuts. However, there wasn't much as far as, let me double check. There wasn't much in the movie section. Everything just... Nothing good's coming out that I could see. However, since we're switching subjects, oh shit, wrong button. I'll throw this one up.
Window secured. Friendly's victorious. Hostiles eliminated.
I will say that was a lucky shot. However, I do have to say, when it comes to video games, there's something called Arc Raiders. Apparently, it's a AAA game that they didn't want to give any credit to. However, it was beating the living pants off Outworld 2. And Outworld is supposedly a really good franchise. Again, I'm not a gamer, guys. Put your comments in the comment section. We'll be going after them. If you think I'm wrong, by all means, if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. I'm looking forward to it. That being said, Arc Radius is beating the shit out of it because it's not woke garbage. It's just what the fans want. However, one that just blew my mind is this one on the screen right now. Red Pine Lake. Steam pulled this entire game from their platform because of this picture. My brain hurts. Do you have any idea? This is tame. This is really, really tame compared to the majority of stuff. I could actually use this as one of my butts, but I'm saving those for later. Don't worry, I got a few new ones, and you're gonna have to put in the chat, the chat box exactly what franchise the new tonight's butts come from. Regardless, because of an average woman's ass, And for those who can't read what's on the screen right now, in case you're like listening on your phone or something, it says on the bottom, if you look enough, I'm sure you'll find plenty of other partners who are breaking our rules and guidelines. Focusing on the topic of the image of a woman's behind is indeed sexual in nature, regardless of what she's wearing. Your graphical assets can be viewed by anyone on the platform and should be appropriate for the store. Wow, that's a load of crap. That is a very, very, very smelly load of bullshit. Okay, seriously, some of the games out there are basically digital corn. And yes, I do have to call it corn because of the way the algorithm is on this channel or on this platform. But seriously, there's games where anime girls are water gun fighting each other, getting each other all soaking wet. And I mean, some of the fighting games are just, even way back in the day, I mean, women are wearing nothing. I mean, think Soul Calibur, that guy Voldo. I mean, dude was walking around with a blindfold, a gag, and a thong. I'm like, seriously, what is wrong? Granted, he's one of the toughest people to beat because you never know which direction he's actually moving in. But still, this is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. And I don't know what the hell their problem is. Except for the fact that maybe the developers or folks at Steam looked at this and wished they had an ass that nice. And they got jealous. That's all I can think of. Oh my God, it's blowing my mind so much. I just need to see something else. Is he satiated yet? All right. The reason I put that on is because I wanted to, just like it said in the thumbnail, there's a light in the dark as far as video games go, a true light in the dark. And this has been a surprising hit. It's not even all the way out yet. And I'm pretty sure if I keep going, a few of you might actually figure out exactly what game it is. It's a game where the game mechanics are, you do like 3 or 4 different types of games during the entire thing, and you get to choose what the character says, and you have choices that supposedly are going to work towards your favor or against you later. And that game is Dispatch. I would have never thought a game like this. Honestly, well, I'm not a video game developer either. I don't think that way. But I'm actually surprised. And a few folks have actually sent me video clips and links to look it up. And I'm like, I can't watch an hour and a half to 3 hours of people playing this game. Okay. I can see the couple of minutes at most while I take a little break, and that's about it. I will say this, though. The story is surprisingly engaging. Very, very surprising. And the one you see on here, and believe it or not, when I looked up image search, this is the only one that came up, and she's basically the poster child of the dispatch services. And yeah, the blonde blazer. I had to laugh at how corny that was, but the whole thing's kind of tongue-in-cheek. Now, I look at some of the choices that are made, and, well, I'm not, unless you guys want me to speculate potential spoilers, I'm not going to say too much. But I will say I can see where some of these choices are going to come back around. And it's going to be pretty interesting. And the whole story is actually surprisingly adult. If you guys haven't actually seen some of the clips on these, I mean, they deal with some heavy shit. People trying to do right. People are so messed up. That's why I say it's a light in the darkness. And yeah. And the key thing here is it adult? Sure. But is it adult for shock value? No. It is adult at times. It needs to be to continue the story on. That is extremely important in my book. If it adds to the story, we're all good. We are all awesome. But if it's up there just for shock value, then you're going to be in trouble. Let's see. I forgot to do something with my notes here. It's going to... sorry, I forgot to put one of my notes where it was supposed to be, and I'm going to have to circle back. As far as the story goes, I know you guys like story, or else you wouldn't be here. The story is actually taking shape. And like I said, no spoilers. I will say I can see the difference between the initial 2 firing that you got to choose, which I don't understand why you have to choose in the first place, but whatever, it's part of the game. And then choosing the love interest. However, I will say when choosing a love interest, you don't shit where you eat, okay? You don't, I mean, seriously, that's like putting your head up your own ass. Seriously, straight up there, because no matter what, you're in trouble. Any guy who works in an office nowadays has to put all his shields up and just keep his head down the entire time, or else he's going to get fired and he's going to get fucking arrested. And when you're working with superheroes, that's the lighter portion. They might go and do some very bad things. Actually, they do end up doing some pretty horrific things. I'm not going to say what they are because you guys know I don't do spoilers, but again, you're just going to be like, oh, that's nasty. That's just nasty. Oh, looks like Guard's looking up dispatch. Yep. He loves it so much. Guard is not saying
Heresy! Remove this filth!
And it's good because, well, you don't want to be able, you know, I was going to say something there, but it was kind of dumb. Okay, I want to skip, unless you guys want my speculation for the stories, I'm not going to say this part. I'm going to skip down to, like I said, No Time to Play. If you guys want to look it up, again, look it up on YouTube. Just look Dispatch. It's coming out in sections. It's not done yet. Fair warning. If you don't want spoilers while you're watching, you got to watch them in sequence. Okay. That's extremely important because there's certain things that are going to happen or have happened that you're going to find out of context, and it's going to kind of screw things up. You'll see when you get there. Now, I do have to say, I hate the censors, man. I hate the censors on YouTube. It's a cartoon. Because you're seeing a little bit, just the very top of almost not even a nip slip here. Why are you censoring that? I could see the first guy fighting with his dingus hanging out, but I mean, what the fuck, dude? I mean, what the hell is going on? It's just crazy. And before I say the next, oh shit, why do I keep hitting the wrong damn button? Hold on. Before I go any further, let's hurt something. All right. Well, I was trying to do something there behind the scenes, and it just bit me in the ass. So, anyway, just like any other good story, like everything I do, and this is why I need you guys' help, because the little parts make the story. And again, for those of you who are watching Dispatch, something as simple as which glass to pick up actually plays in later, and it's kind of funny. And one of the other things, I'm not really spoiling anything here, but the fact that if you're working with different species, sometimes their parts don't mesh up. And thank you, God, that somebody finally did that. The only other time I've ever heard anybody talk about this was The Big Bang Theory, when Raj, the Raj character, was like, how come everyone's parts line up? How come you've never heard some alien girl say, Captain Kirk, why are you putting that in my nose? You know, it's just, or, and by that,
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
and as it's just crazy. Although I will say there are some very suggestive parts. In one in particular, I could just hear, you know, and again, I'm sure a few folks on here, I can see guards already throwing a bunch of stuff in there. And I hope if this game goes well, because it looks so good, I hope that this is the new opening up of a new way of playing video games, because it's a lot more interactive. You got the actual story, and if they let it out in pieces, they actually have time to actually do more with it. They just can't wait too long. Letting parts out once a week, honestly, they should put one part out a week, not two parts out every week on the same day, which honestly doesn't make sense to me, but whatever, I didn't design it. That keeps people interested. And I think that is just fucking genius. Absolute geniuses. And it's just so nice that they actually did that. But that's enough of me gushing about that right now. We're about to move forward to over into the chat box. So let me throw up another video while I get everything situated. Excuse me. All right. I was, when watching that video, I was wondering if the guy just dropped into the back rooms. That would have been funny. Anyway, let's see. I'm going to start here with a Prozac and pancakes. And he says, I find that when interrogating, shooting a rando in the knee, then offering a free gender reassignment via 500 Mossberg, actually Mossberg 500 shotgun, usually gets them to talk. I don't get them to talk. That gets them to sing once they stop peeing themselves. And don't ask me how I know that. But yes, usually it is the fear of the actual act, not the act itself. Because the problem with all that is once you've actually squeezed the trigger and you've reassigned them, they're not going to talk. Well, why would they? It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to make them grow back. You know, it's crazy. And Leonid's up here saying that he didn't notice any gore. Now, I tamed it down. You guys should see some of the original writing. There was actual evisceration. They were supposed to capture one more of the Xenos before they got to the feline. But when I started talking about cracking open their chest and actually holding up one of his 3 hearts and crushing it in his hand and watching the blood ooze through the fingers and then dripping on the Xeno's face, I thought maybe it was a little too much. But it is what it is. Guards here. That's not mine. My highest national is at 7.7 with a hole beyond it. Okay, I must have missed something here. See, Alan says, I like to compare the A10 to a B Martin, almost pure maneuver style. Okay, you're talking the biplane or the triplane, if I remember correctly. Actually, the tri-wing design was the most maneuverable, but Manfred von Richthofen hated the damn thing. He wanted to go back to a standard biplane because adding the extra wing, yeah, sure, you shorter distance to take off, but it negated the effectiveness of the German engines. The German engines were head and shoulders above what everybody else had. That gave him more speed, that gave him more power. It had less bleed off when it came to energy, and he was an excellent pilot anyway. So yeah, it turned him from an awesome pilot just to a great one, which is a shame, really.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something is right because we have a demon in the house. And he says, once my new higher probation is over, I might be able to come back to the live streams, but won't know for sure until next year. I miss everybody. Hope you all a good Halloween and a good night, everybody. Well, thank you very, very much, SS Demon. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and have fun at work, and we applaud you. And I hope everything's going well over there. All right, let me scroll back up here to where I was, which I have no idea where I was. I'm going to have to actually find it. Well, fuck it. Somewhere around here. Okay. Guardian says the Displacer Beast is supposed to look like a Black Panther at a glance, but it's supposed to also have a couple of tentacles similar to the distinctive squid tentacles. Okay. Are those coming out the mouth like they did on the ripoff of Miss Marvel, or do they come out the backside like you see on all those other like anime stuff with the multi-tails? I know, weird. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Joseph, on that one, when you put Thundercats on there, I tried to actually get the sound effect for the Thundercats. The only one I could get was so low. I literally had everything cranked up as high as I could, and it barely came in. It was terrible. Let's see. Erica says, oh, she's answering questions. She says, hyenas tend to prefer women over men because the leader of the hyena packs are female, which is true. Also, the Joker, prior to Harley Quinn, had hyenas, and once Harley came, they became hers. It's in their DNA. Okay, point very well made, very succinctly made, and you are absolutely correct. In hyena society is very, very, very matriarchal, and it's kind of weird. You'll actually see the females mounting the males as a sign of dominance. Brian says the falling bike hurt all the way down. I'm sure it did, and somebody who just loves bikes, seeing that one get destroyed, I'm sure was just. Ooh, just right in the feels. Guard is here saying, my parents watched Witcher season 4 and they said it was terrible and that it wasn't worth watching. If even your folks are saying it's not worth watching, it's just horrible. And I actually pulled my Witcher stuff off, or I'd put it up on the screen again. Oh, as a Side note, guys, if the storm does come in and for some reason it knocks out power because we're supposed to have some really nasty winds here, just like before, if the stream cuts, it wasn't me, but I'm not going to try and reinitialize it. I've had some serious problems with that. I've got to work once, and we're not going to do that. However, since something need to be watched, how about a little storm with a centaur? Okay, I just gotta say it. Watching that video, when I saw him throw the damn sword, all I heard was "God damn it!" And then he picked up the sword and went underneath and hacked at his underside. And the centaur literally passed out when you friggin' slapped him baseball bat style on his penis with that giant sword of yours. Yeah, I'd pass out too if I had a friggin' half a ton piece of metal that racked against my junk. All right, Joseph here says Ark is a great shooter. Tarkov light for casual, Tarkov light for casual players. Okay, I'm not very well knowledgeable on games, but I'll take your word for it. Let's see. Guard says you can thank the Australian feminist company Collective Shout for pretty much taking control of Steam and what they can and can't use. So they're mad at this. This woman isn't even super in shape. Okay, and by the way, the reason I'm pointing sideways because my screen is over here. I mean, she's not out of shape. Maybe that's what they're mad about. I mean, what wow. I'm so flabbergasted. Maybe I'll think about this logically against feminist logic. Ow, shit. Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay, let's see. He continues with, apparently that group has, I'll throw this back on while I'm reading this. Apparently that group has influenced the banking companies and pretty much strong-armed Steam until no banking company was supporting them, thus killing Steam's ability to even sell games because they needed those companies like MasterCard, Visa, and PayPal, but they removed it themselves from Steam till a collective shot won, and now that collective shout has won. They're now pretty much telling Steam what they can and can't do, sell or use, to point that over 16,000 games, holy shit, that have been removed from Steam. Wow. Hold on, I had to wrap my brain around that one for a second. 16,000, seriously, 16,000 games they kicked off. Why? It doesn't fit my beauty standard. Bite me. It's escapism, motherfucker. I mean, seriously, do you really think they all are? Well, where's a good one? You know what? I'm just going to throw this one back on there. Seriously, no fighter has a waist this size, or I should say hips this size. It doesn't happen. If they were even close to this, do you have any idea how defined they would have to be? They think Chun-Li. If I had a Chun-Li, you know what? I'm going to look for a Chun-Li right now. See if I can find a Chun-Li with those massive, holy crap, I'm going to break friggin' rebar. Hold on, here we go. It's going to take a second to come in to make my point. But as that comes in, I just want to say, Guard continues with a good portion of the not safe for work, but the games were not safe for work. Hold on. But, okay, not a very good Chun-Li. There's also a large amount that were horror games, especially the psychological horror genre of games. Oh, man. Wow. That really? Psychological horror games? I can think of one that's definitely not safe for work because you're basically going into Satan's bordello to get your girl back. And that was, I think that was like last year that one came out. And honestly, some of the psychological shit going on there, just, I was like, I could go on my whole life without seeing that. And I can't wipe it from my memory now. He continues, also, hey, here's a good question. What the fuck happened to Steam's PG scanners? Like, I clearly remember Steam having it to where they had to force you to mark what age group this game was meant for, and then it'll be put in that group. And once it was put in, anybody below that age group could not access it, which is self-censoring. Okay. So the game was marked for an adult, then adult only people could get it above age 20. But now that I looked it up for a second, apparently Collective Shout removed that because it was provocative and somehow sexist. Feminist groups, everyone or everywhere, they ruin everything they touch. Fucking men. There are other groups, but that's a big one right there. I can think of one, and Guard's talking about him right now, one who took over in New York. But again, we don't do politics here. We try to stay away from it. But holy jumping Jehoshaphat, it's just absolutely crazy. Okay. Before I get going, I need to calm down before I start saying something I'm not supposed to say. So let's blow something up.
Ziel getroffen! Ziel zerstört!
Okay, sorry. For some reason, every time I go in to put those on, this thing actually jumps. I'm trying to find out where in the hell I was just at. And somewhere around here. Okay. Oh, Guardian's here. He says note or amendum. Or addendum. And by the way, that's two of the same things. Displacer beasts look more like a starved, six-legged Black Panther with two tentacles coming out of its shoulders. Okay. With short add tendrils coming out of its underside of the tentacle. Oh, so they were demon tongues. I'm not even kidding. That's how demon tongues are drawn. Demon tongues stretch out very long, and they have like the little tendrils sticking up, usually either facing forward or facing back, usually facing back, so they can grab a hold of whatever they're going to eat and actually pull it into their mouth. However, people have taken that and, they've Rule 34 the shit out of it. So, yeah, fun. And honestly, the way you're describing that is very creepy and a little woohoo. And, I'll look this up. Let me write it down in my notes here. D&D Displacer Beast. Roar. All right. Guard continues down here. He says, oh my God, I love Dispatch. Oh, let me throw Dispatch up here again so we got something to look at besides me. I love Dispatch. I can't believe they got Jacksepticeye. Yeah. And the most critical to actual voice characters, and they just released episode 5 and 6 recently. Actually, those dropped today. Just today, I saw that there's new videos on YouTube. Unfortunately, I can't watch the damn things because they're like an hour plus long. People are doing entire playthroughs. And you actually get to choose between the girl on screen and the Invisigirl, who's more of a punker. But honestly, when they design the character, there's one thing about the invisible character that just turned me off. She's got a freaking septum piercing. I see that and I simply back away. You stay at arm's length. You don't even touch me. That's a warning sign, especially nowadays. Chris here says, when I choose love interest in real life, I tend to pick the worst possible match. and then get confused as to how I didn't see the crazy again. Dude, I am part of the club. I am absolutely part of the club until I hit about the age of like 33, 34. And for most guys, that's when the switch flips. And, Space Ghost is on. And you're out the door. You're trying desperately to not let that control you. And eventually you'll learn how. It's just this natural thing that happens to all of us. That is until we finally get that telomere extender, and then we're all going to be back to dick thinking. So, yeah, fun. But let's face it, crazy is exciting. Crazy is attractive. Crazy gets you drawn in. And as much as we give women shit about going for the punkers, we have a problem falling for the crazy. Why? Because crazy slot C is some of the best slot C you're ever going to have. And if you don't know what the slot C stands for, C as in the first 4 letters of can't understand normal thinking. And no, I didn't come up with that. Excuse me. But yeah, you're right. It just crazy just gets you in trouble. But it again, it's like those pretty colors you see around, and all those pretty colors, not realizing that means danger, Will Robinson, danger. Okay. Guard also goes, I love how your character has possibly the best results in the entire game. Yeah, pretty much. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, if you guys want me to, I will do the speculation. I have all the speculation written down in 2 paragraphs right here and right here. I have it written down. I'm just not saying it because I don't want to ruin the game for you guys if you don't want me to. It's just one of those things. So anyways, Guard goes, continues with, like, we got the Black Einstein, Cardi C, Kardashian Reject, Sentient Tofu project just keeps going because the main guy he's playing has insults for everybody and he doesn't hold back. Yes. Yeah, I did actually see that during the meeting, and that was just fun. Now, I have no idea off the top of my head who the fuck Cardi C is. I know it's some sort of entertainer, but I was completely freaking lost. But when they said Kardashian Reject, I was like, okay, we got a winner here. That was just funny. And the thing is, the insults to all of them and just the quips are so good. It just, So Lena jumps in and says, why won't it line up? People are going to be familiar with mammalian anatomy. Oh, are you talking about the what was it? Are you talking about the feline character I had, or are you talking about the? Oh, you know what? You're talking about. Talk to the guys who know Dispatch. I don't want to. I don't want to say too much, man, because it's one of the funniest damn parts, and it's just like, what the fuck, over? You guys know I try to avoid spoilers unless you guys ask for them. Anyways, mammalian anatomy might not be the same on different planets. Just keep that in mind. See, Guardian says, note, the starved look is apparently more of a 3E version. 5E looks more like something from Pandora. Oh, yeah, I saw that, where they switched it out to, the woman looks like something like a samurai looking thing. And you see the actual one they tried to sell over here because of all the crap they did. And she is literally flat. Nothing. Like Tic Tacs on a chalkboard. I mean, it's just flat. And then you see the one they sell over in Asia, and she's literally busting out of that friggin' kimono she's wearing. It's crazy. Let's see. Leonid's put in. Also, people don't just write shallow romances to satisfy their shipping. Okay. I got to let you in on this. When I was, I know I mentioned this before a few weeks back, but I used to do a lot of commission work. And one of the main things with the commission work was erotic content. You'd be astounded before ChatGPT how many people would pay several $100s for about anywhere from 10 to 20 pages of this sort of thing. They would send me what type of characters they wanted me to send, what they were going to be working with, and roughly how everything was going to go, and the rest was up to me. Usually just the location. And you get some real characters. I mean, you get folks that are into the changing of the species. You get some people who are into just some sort of weird pain thing. There's one dude that just wanted to bleed. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? However, there are just absolute shallow romances that go in a lot of these. Like you might learn the name of the other person. And like, oh, well, I'll see you later. Or if I see you later, then we'll do this again or something like that. It doesn't get, it's shallower than a puppy's piss puddle. And the weird thing is, you could actually tell the difference between the men who wanted something and the women. Men wanted something with more depth. A lot of times they paid extra, a lot of times double or triple, to get full-blown, flushed out, named characters, to get them in a full-on storyline, sometimes in different love triangles or quadrangles or pentagonals or whatever the fuck it's going to be. One guy, I kid you not, it took me about a month to finish it, but he paid over $1,000 for one story. Granted, it was about 40 pages, but still. And he just loved it. And it was more of a romance thing than the actual, death by snoo snoo. Well, the thing is, I knew whenever it was a woman who wanted something, because it was literally, we meet, we fuck, his junk is huge, and I left. Still all fucked up, and everybody just kind of sloughed it off. But that's literally it. That's almost every single one of them. And almost all the ones, with the exception of 2 that I can remember, all the ones that were into torture were all women. It was a power fantasy. It was a power trip. And honestly, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Let's, where were we here? Did we blow something up here?
Ziel getroffen! Ziel zerstört!
Geez, you really hate planes, don't you? About this bad.
Ziel beschädigt!
Just a little more effort, and victory will surely be ours. Gramercy. Thank you very much!
Ziel zerstört!
If you're wondering why it sounded there was something vibrating in the background, there was a glitch in the sound editing. And I thought just because that one was labeled clip 69, I would leave it so it sounded like there was a vibrator in the background. So anyways, I'm not even joking. It's actually labeled clip 69. All right, let's see. War Sniper's up here. He says, all the AA videos are from me. And a few fun videos. Yes, I've seen. I will say this though, War Sniper. I'll even show you. See this list of numbers on the side of here? All these different ones. There's about 17. Or hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of them. All of them had to be adjusted. Your volume, when it came to all these ones where you're in the Avenger, or at least somebody's version of an Avenger, because when I was with Avengers, yes, these are anti-aircraft with homing missiles on them, usually Stingers. The ones the American Army have are strapped on the back of Humvees. They're not on ripsaws like that. Anyway, there's something with the volume. It was so low, I literally had to go in and crank it up twice. at least for some of them. Most of them I just had to crank it up once, but it was still, just be aware of that. I'm not saying don't send them. I'm saying just be aware of it. All right. Alan's up here. Says, no, the A-10 Modern is a tighter turn and an air missile rack. A B Martin will loop and dive much better than almost any other ground support aircraft. Okay. Lena says, recently I started watching anime with monsters who probably pretend they want to eat, who probably pretend they want to eat humans. We got a mermaid monster and a Kitsune monster. Oh, War Sniper's going to watch that. With a very long jaw. I don't have anything else to say on that one. Erica here is saying, I love a good Dante's Inferno type story. Ooh, that's a psychological clusterfuck if I ever seen one. And of course, we got Eric coming in, and he's saying,
Good evening, sinners.
And let's see. Erica's jumping in. While I believe that us women should have the same legal rights as men, I also believe that we should also have the same social responsibility and accountability. Most feminisms don't want the last two. And again, it's just kind of messed up because a lot of the feminist men, when they start talking, it's so messed up that you wonder if they're retarded, and they sound retarded. It makes me sad, but then
when I get sad, I stop being sad and be awesome instead. True story.
All right. Yeah, I had to play that one at least once. Let's see. Guardian says, I saw a YouTube short where a girl had a septum ring. That's the one up the nose. And she took it out. Apparently, she was told by several people that it made her unattractive. When she took out her reflection without the nose ring, she realized she was actually looked a lot, but yet I saw that video. She was actually a very cute girl, and that little piece of metal made everything just not look right. It was just messed up. And yeah, I saw the video, and she had to like twist it and stuff to get it out, and it took her a second. She's like, okay, it's out. Oh my God, I do look at it. It's like, no shit. I mean, when multiple people are telling you the same thing, maybe you should listen. You know, it's one of the things. It's like when somebody walks up next to you and go, man, dude, you need a shower or something. You're like, it's not that bad. Another person goes, oh man, oh shit, dude. Oh, whew, you're sweating up a storm. You might want to go clean off. That's at least two people saying you stink. You might want to listen. So anyways, yes, Guardian, that was 100% true. And let's see. I'm going to jump down this next one with Alan says, watch A-10 against a Sea-Wiz anti-aircraft Gatling. Oh, that would be something very interesting because if depending on what angle the A-10's coming at, it's got a longer range, but it can't fire as long of a burst. The Sea-Wiz can fire until it runs out of ammo. A-10 can't do that. It has to fire in shorter bursts. Which I'll tell you what, when you hear those things hit the ground, then you hear that wah, and it's like, oh shit, I didn't know you were that close. So anyway, let's blow something else up. Yeah, we sure have a lot of these on the Ripsaw platform. And yes, that is if you look at the side, that track vehicle, that is a specifically designed. Originally, it was designed as a recreational vehicle. They got caught up with the Department of Defense, now Department of War, and they're like, okay, we're going to use it for SAR. And then they're like, oh, wait, it's so fast, so mobile, it's amphibious. Yeah, we're going to work with Special Forces on this. And then somebody's like, well, what if we put a big gun on it? So basically, it's going through the same bullshit as the Bradley. But then again, if you want something really quick to get in position to do this,
Getroffen! Ziel zerstört!
and fun. Let's see, where was I? All right, going back in the comments section, we got Erica saying, craziest fun in bed, but is terrible for the long haul. Crazy equals Ferrari, and etc. Long term forever, Jeep, Honda, Toyota, Volvo, Max, etc. I semi agree with you on, I agree that first part, that crazy is fun short term, but long term sucks actually, like sweaty moose nuts, dripping slime, and it's just it's terrible for the long run. But I wouldn't, yeah, I'd say it's a Ferrari, which by the way, in the long run, yes, is going to cost you more in repairs than anything else. However, long term, I would never put Jeep in there because Jeep equals expensive. The maintenance is expensive, and the fuel, the things are terrible with fuel. As far as the other ones, I'll agree with that. Guardian saying, as long as the Volvo isn't a car, Volkswagen is better. Guess what I drive? And I got a diesel engine in my Volkswagen. So on the highway, if I only do about 55, I'll see that on the dash, it tick up over 60 miles to the gallon, easy. Although, who the hell drives 55 nowadays? Speed limit 65. So you're going to be at least topping around 60 to 65 around there. Brian's in there. Planes, I hate these planes. I'm tired of these motherfucking planes on my motherfucking... Anyways, sorry, I tried to adjust it, but that didn't work. So, anyways, Worst Number says, yeah, I turn it low and then it's fine for me because I use a headset and I don't want to deafen myself. I don't know why it's so low on the stream itself. For me, it's always fine. And also when I edit my videos, I'll bet you dollars to donuts, it's not the settings on the headset. It's some sort of setting in your recording, whatever device you're recording on. Because case in point, right now, I'm running about 3 to 4 different types of volumes. I got the volume actually on the TV, which will affect this. I got the volume actually on StreamYards. I'm looking at it, and I can see the adjustments. I got the volume sitting right here, and I get the volume, you got another one on the other soundboard. I got 2 soundboards. So, yeah, I have to have all those working, and I have to have them all set up. You guys can't hear it before the stream, but I go through the entire thing. And I have to. And one of these times, I'll play everything on the soundboard at once for you guys, just to show you the kind of crap I got to go through. And I guarantee you're going to be trying, what the fuck? I can't, what the hell is this? Until they get to the very end. Then as many things peter out, you kind of figure out what's going on. But until then, I'm screaming, God damn it! And stuff like that. And it's like the computer will always sit there, look at you and say, Bazinga. And it's just crazy. All right. But yeah, keep them coming, War Sniper. I'll just adjust them. If I have time, a few of these, I was going to put some extra sound effects on. And I'm thinking what I might end up doing is I'll section off like whatever videos that week, and I'll put some sound effects to them, and I'll just put them out as an extra video. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Like I said, it's bad. I got something familiar I want to work on, and I got the regular one. I haven't even been able to do shorts, which is pissing me off. Anyway, that's enough of me ranting on that. Leonid says, it would be really fun to have a character with Disney princess powers, somebody who can talk to animals and then get seduced by the opposite. The thing is, that last word you put on here, the 3-letter word, I got to be careful. I can only use that like once, maybe twice in the stream. But yeah. They want you to use the word gender. Every time I use that word, I swear it hurts my brain. That's why dar. You can't see it, but I'm actually squinting one eye when I do that, like you're having a stroke. But yeah, they the weird thing is they've actually touched on a lot of that in a few animes. Like the shit, I can't remember which one it was. Everybody fights with what's like known as a doll. And the main character guy has a human female doll that does the fight. It's kind of like their version of Pokemon. And literally and I still remember her name is Yaya, and I'm sure somebody's probably remembering it right now and putting it in the chat box. And she was like just crazy horny all the time, but he doesn't actually do that. He doesn't want to do that with a doll. I don't even know if her parts are actually able to do that. So he's actually hitting on a bunch of these other girls, and they're hitting on him because his doll is so strong. That means he's the strongest one in the school, yada, yada, yada. You guys all know how that goes. But still, she does still have one of the best lines there. And she's like, oh my God, can't you stay with me tonight? Just do me a favor. He's like, no, forget the favor. Just do me, she yells. It's just, sorry, that's just funny. At least to me, but I got a very twisted sense of humor. You guys know that because you guys got one too. And you just got to be careful because every time somebody invites you into their room, it's a trap. You got to be careful because as soon as you finish, every guy's been there. Every guy there has had this experience. As soon as you're done, you think to yourself,
it was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
We've all been there at least once. Okay. I'm going to throw on another video here. Make sure I don't double up these videos here. Which one was, oh man, I'm going to have to write down which one I was on because I think I was here.
Captured most of the strategic zones. Ziel beschädigt! Ziel ausgeschaltet!
Okay, I think I overstepped one of these. I'm trying to figure out which ones I did. I forgot to mark them. Anyway, back to the comment section. And I swear I hate this thing fucking jumps. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, Erica here. Oh, she's saying to Sage, true, but the 90s Volvo cars could take a beating and a half. No kidding. I knew people that have them, and I've actually known someone that was literally rolled down a 30-foot hill, and the damn thing still was able. Once they pulled it back up onto the road, they just started up and drove it off. It drove like shit for a while until they got it fully fixed, but you'd be amazed at the damage those things could take. Lena says, yeah, the Kitsune character had a very large fox form with the jaw full of teeth. Okay, keep that away from your junk. See, War Sniper also, there's one or two where there are 2 kills with AA. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Chris says, by the way, The Handmaid's Tale was set in the US, so it should sell and people could relate. But it was actually about 1970s Iran after the revolution. The author didn't think it sell if people knew, which is very true. I did actually know this. I try not to bring this up because it tends to piss people off, but it's actually 100% true. You guys want to see where they actually did not pull any punches? Watch a movie called Not Without My Daughter. It is a 1970s movie with the woman who played the flying nun. She was also Shirley in Laverne and Shirley, and I'm trying to remember her name. And it is a very straightforward, here's the reality on the ground type movie. They did lighten a few things up But yeah, because everybody realized that The Handmaid's Tale was such a piece of garbage because of the way they presented it to American audiences, nobody's buying that shit at all. And not to mention, it's a power trip story. It is a straight up power trip story. Here's how I know. If you look at even half of the shit that woman does, the main character, she would have been put to the sword or strung off a limb or off a chain or a stone wall a long time ago. Some of them, just for mouthing off, are like lose an eye or something like that. Like really bad, like 50 lashes in public square or buried up to their neck and waited to die from the sun. All this stuff over minor inconveniences. And this one's going to lead a revolution. And everybody basically knows about it. And she gets, oh, don't do that, basically, compared to all the rest. It's just bullshit. But what can I say? I didn't write it. I don't even watch it. Guardian says, send to Erica. My family had a Volvo when I was a kid in the 90s. Apparently had a lot of problems, and my dad hated it more than Ford. Well, of course, because Ford for a long time had a very good reputation. Unfortunately, that reputation was lost somewhere in the 80s, roughly. They under some sort of new management came in fresh out of college and totally bent that company over sideways, and not in a fun way. And on that mental image, let me see, where the hell did I leave? 16, trying to remember. These are jumbled, folks, so I'm a little behind here. I think that's 75 too. Okay. And so, quick one.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Ziel getroffen! Ziel ausgeschaltet!
I swear, just like in that clip, everybody wants to be in an attack helicopter until you're actually in an attack helicopter. Those things are very niche right now. You barely ever see them outside of the, the 160 at the Night Stalkers. They're the only ones that really deal heavy with helicopters for anything besides logistics. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy because, let's face it, once you're in a helicopter, you have very little you can do once something locks onto you. You saw the guy in the hind there. He was just popping flares like crazy, hoping anything. But the thing he forgot is once you pop the flares, you got to immediately decelerate the engine. I mean, instantly. You got a few seconds for that engine to cool down so that the missile will actually turn and target the flare. You're literally just going to descend extremely fast. They had a couple training events where I was in a Black Hawk where they did the same thing. We were strapped in, and it's the only time I almost puked inside of a Black Hawk. It was just crazy. Let's see. Here we go. War Sniper says, really, Sin, every time you hit an aircraft with your AA missile, it's a new neuron activation. Yeah, rock your brain, that's for sure. Let's see. About your story, I was thinking about the video game character named Mercy for some reason. Mercy. Which there's like 4 characters named Mercy. You're gonna have to narrow that down to the actual franchise. Because a lot of times when I hear the name Mercy, the first one I go to is a Superman, because that's Lex Luthor's henchwoman. But there's a whole bunch of different ones. Let's see. And it might be a video game I haven't played yet either. Guard says, so glad I have these live streams to take my mind off all things. Yeah, that's why we try to stay away from the politics here. We've been dabbling a little bit here, but mostly it's escapism. Let's see. He continues with, I'm thinking about quitting my job and getting a new one because our boss hired a new manager, and dear God, she is the biggest biatch I've ever seen, metaphorically and personally wise. In the past week, she's given me 3 write-ups over the simplest of things, and some of the guys she's threatened to straight up have fired, like she has ripped up the entire way of doing things. And she's pretty much telling us either we do it her way or we can just kiss our asses goodbye. and get fired, even though her way is slower and makes things harder. All right. I got to pause there because there's only a few ways to handle this. It sounds like you're more of an office-ish setting. So the only way you can either deal with this is either A, you all go together and do paperwork saying you are finding this to be a hazardous work environment. She is threatening your jobs over absolutely nothing. You have, and this one, you have to have your guns loaded. You have to have paperwork. You have to have times. You have to have actual written statements. And if you believe your company above her head is going to do the right thing, this will work and everything will just go back to the way it was. And you can do things the way it's going to make things faster and more effective. If you don't think that's going to happen, then you only have a few other choices. Either A, all your guys can refuse to do any work and immediately start looking for other jobs, and as a group, go look for additional employment somewhere else. Or you can do what's known as quiet quitting, which is you do things exactly her. And this one takes a lot of time, and you're going to have to write everything down. Make sure you have copious notes that you did everything her way, exactly her way, every single time. And exactly at the moment you make the clock out, you leave. It doesn't matter if you're halfway through writing a sentence or writing a line of code. You immediately stop and you leave. You do not come in early. You do not stay in late. And when she demands it, say, change my contract for overtime. Sign in my overtime right now. And if she refused to do that, then it's out of my purview. Now, if you're going to actually do that with the quiet quitting, be warned, she is going to make your life totally suck. And then there is malicious compliance. And again, write it down. You write down at the end of the day, followed guidelines exactly to the letter of manager. Expected results are such and such. Results got or results taken this day are such and such. And make sure that report gets sent up and all your guys do that. And then somebody's going to look at that and goes, something's wrong here. But you got to make sure you get everything on record. When you're dealing with a shitty boss like this, there's always the 3 rules. Never trust your boss. Okay, they're always looking out for the self-interest. Get it on tape or at least recorded somehow, and always have backup. If you do those, you're going to be set. However, if you do not believe anything's going to change, even if you get everybody on the same page, then your only choices are to line everything up and get the fuck out of there all at once. Just start looking into, find one of the competitors and say, look, we're going to show up with all this experience. We'll actually give you all the information that you want. Just give us a little bump on the salary. And yeah, we'll do this. And most companies they'll hire you quick because they already know, you know what you're doing. You know, they know you have experience. However, quitting your job is one of the most mentally taxing things you are ever going to do in your life. So this is not to be taken lightly. Switching jobs is not the most difficult thing in the world if you have another place set up. However, if she's anything like the way you say, there's no such thing as a mandatory 2-week notice. If she says, oh, you have to have given me 2-week notice, just look at her and say, show me the law, not what's in your little book of regulation, the actual law, the physical law. It used to be you give 2 weeks notice and you have the integrity to stay there to train your replacement. That shit doesn't happen anymore, period. Okay, my buddy Dave, he stayed here after he got his divorce. He was actually working down at the rail yard, and he knew that as soon as he put in his 2-week notice, they would walk him right off the lot. So what did he do? He had everything lined up before he dropped the 2-week notice. So when they walked him off the lot, he was like, okay, whatever. I'm still signed in for this day. So bite me. And yeah, it's just stuff like that. So again, your choices are eject, malicious compliance, or take it to higher. That's pretty much your only options that I've ever known. All right. That's enough of the bad shit. Let's or where the hell was I? Okay, was I there? Was I here? Nope, that's that one. How about this one?
Sie in den Traumpfad!
You notice it blew the tail off. You're going down if that happens. Okay, Lena's here. It says, from my point of view, a fairy is probably just a 1 foot long humanoid with wings who can do magic. Okay, you're talking about a pixie, not a fairy. Most fairy or fae are very, very small. They're only about maybe the size of your nose. That's about it. They're not very tall at all. But because of that, because they're so small, they move so fast that usually the human eye can't get them. And I'm going by the actual lore. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's mislabeled. A pixie is usually anywhere from about 1 foot to 2 feet tall. And that's the ones that can be easily mistaken for dryads. Most pixies, as far as most lores are concerned, were either hunted to extinction or one of the extinction level events ended them. It is what it is. But yeah, that's really the only difference between the two. One's bigger than the other. That's it. You're talking the difference between a pony and a horse. I mean, really, that's it. Both are magical, but in different ways. Fairies are not as ethereal. Pixies aren't as ethereal as fairies are. Yeah. And that's one of the things they really fucked up when they did Tinkerbell. They're like, she's a fairy, but they called it pixie dust. It doesn't work. Anyway, guards here. If she's not threatening to write us up, we're bashing our heads for her over everything. Like, gee, no wonder we haven't gotten anything accomplished over the past week. She keeps harping our asses, just trying to stick their fist up there, turn you into a sock puppet. Yeah, I could see that happening. And look, I had a boss who was like that when I was recruiting. I was up in Buffalo. This guy was so used to being somewhere else that they had a walk-in market. You didn't have to go and look for anything. They just walked in the door, said, I want into the army. I'm like, no, that doesn't work around here. But so what did he do? He went exactly what the book says. Well, the book was written back in 1981, motherfucker. Smiling and dialing doesn't work anymore. That just pisses everybody off. You got to use emails. You got to use social media. You got to use texting. You got to use all that, because who the fuck answers their phone anymore? Hell, half the time when I see a number I don't know, I don't answer the phone either. So, yeah, that's all I'm saying is, and when that happened with me, I lucked out. I had somebody who's literally like 6 feet away from my desk, and he was on his desk, and he would hear me go through the same shtick every single day, every single time I'm on that phone. And he was able to have my back saying, yeah, he's doing his work. He's doing it exactly the way you told him to. How come he's not getting anybody in? Well, he's doing exactly what you told him to. But that should get people in. No, it won't. He's doing exactly what you told him to. Can he do it the way he wants to now? No, he's got to do it exactly the way you do. And that would get, it's literally the definition of insanity, doing the exact same thing, expecting different results. And eventually that boss, by the way, we were driving somewhere. He was chewing me out as he's driving. And here I'm trying to tell him to stop. He's like, don't tell me to stop. Don't, blah, 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 you don't, blah, blah, just going off. And then he gets in an accident. Somebody car comes off the car carrier, took the front bumper off the car we were on. I'm like, yeah, great. You just ruined the entire day for us. Thanks. Let's see. War Sniper says, Sin, my volume percentage is 144% for War Thunder. When it gets recorded, I don't know what's going on. But I have my edit all the videos. And when I'm back to the newest, I continue playing War Thunder. All I can say is this. Email it to yourself, to use 2 different emails. Send an email to yourself and watch the video and see if maybe it's your email. So if it's not your recording software, that's the only thing else I can think of right now. He says, I think I have 8 videos ready to be edited. Okay. I can even upload one right now, but I'm very slow. Dude, I couldn't do anything right now. I'd have to pull this off and pull the entire other program up. I don't have multiple screens, guys. It doesn't work that way. So anyway, let me jump down here. Where was I? I don't know. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am anymore. Oh God. Wait a minute. Did I do this one? All right. No, I didn't do that one. As I can see, he actually, War Sniper actually, he cut one match into different sections. So if it looks like it's the same map, it's the same map. It's the same game. It's just different parts of it. So anyway, Lena's here saying, I've watched Handyman Saito anime. I thought that isekai was crazy. It was, I've seen only bits of it. I wasn't really deep into it, but again, it comes down to time with me. It looked okay. It looked like, to me, kind of a romance thing going on, especially when the fairy, because she is a fairy, she's only that big, she actually became human size, which kind of confused me. All that thing was supposed to do was make her grow. And where the fuck did her wings go? That was my question. It didn't make sense that she grew up, but her wings disappeared. It didn't make a lick of sense. Consistency. And if they lose consistency, they lose me, period. Eric's down here says, she was also in Mrs. Doubtfire. Yes, that same actress was. She was the ex-wife who was a total bitch. Yeah. You're right. Absolutely. And I'm trying to remember her actual name, and I'm completely lost. Guard says, I know that, but I've been looking for a better job anyways, and she's just pushing me to do it pretty much. Yeah. Hey, like they say, no time like the present. Okay. All I can say is secure the job before you go take another one. I know it sounds like obvious, but I've seen a lot of people do this. They're like, I'll be fine. And then they're couch surfing for a few months, trying to find something worth a shit. And it is, it's just one of those factors of life that nobody thinks about, because we're so used to hearing about the old days where you finished up your education and you went out and you got a job and you stayed at that employment for 20, 30 years. And then you retired, you get your gold watch and your pension, and you're off to the races after that. You never had to worry about it because you were guaranteed advancement. That shit doesn't happen anymore. You have to constantly change jobs if you want advancement, something I only learned recently. And I've been trying to tell my nephews, and they're looking at me like I got a dick run on my forehead. It's crazy. Let's see. Let's see. Guard saying it's independent garage. Our boss is the boss, and nobody's above him. Oh, boy. Wait a minute, I thought the boss was a her. Okay. Okay. What the thing is, if you get a new like manager or whatever, and they're related to the actual owner, dude, eject, 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 and run like hell. And be whatever you do not look back. But make sure you can get out of there clean. That's the important part. I've seen several people try to actually quit their jobs, and it always comes back to bite them. What's worse is when you quit your job, they will always say, well, I'm not going to write you a good review then. Well, then don't. Let's see. Lena says, it was really funny when the Isekai anime made fun of the fictional unit of measurement. They have measured King's schlong to be 12 inches long. Oh, dear God. I hope you're joking. The messed up part, I don't think you're joking. Oh, shit. That's funny. Oh, jeez. Dude, I got absolutely, positively nothing on that. So I'm just going to say, dude. You couldn't ask for a better shot than that. That was a perfect broadside. And yeah, that was just really good. All right, let me scroll back up here a little bit. Where was I? I was about here as somebody was talking about penises, long penises, doing the flippity to floppity. And I'm sure Erica is sitting there going, really? You're talking more about this? Oh, I'm kidding. Maybe. Chris is here. Says, never ask a girlfriend when you're angry about the manufacturer's return policy. And double, never ask about exchanges if they have a sister. If she gets the joke, if she asks for an explanation, answer your mom. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And tell your girlfriend, I need to check the manufacturer's return policy for this. So, a lot of people started doing kind of a TikTok joke about that. Somebody sent me a video. It's like a whole compilation. People walking up and, it's in jest. The woman's in on the joke. And she's over the guy's shoulder. They knock on the door. The father answers, go, I'm returning this. And the guy just walks away. He's like, no returns. Don't take backs. Let's see. Lena says, I was talking about the Mercy character from the game Overwatch. She's a healer. Okay. Yep. Okay. I know Mercy from that. Yep. She has that French accent. Is it French? Is it Brit? I don't know. Maybe it's British. I don't know. You guys are gonna have to tell me what accent that actually is, because I'm at a bit of a loss. I don't think it's British. Tracer's is British because she says love, cavalry's here. And yes, I've known British guys who actually say it that way. And the only time I've actually heard one say, hey, the cavalry's here, and we all just stopped, looked at him, and started laughing. Oh, what's the joke, mate? I don't know. It's fucking funny. It's like, just shut up. We can't stop. I'm going to pee my pants. I'm laughing so hard. But it was just one of those, we're running off 3 days of no sleep and just hearing that strange, and he just yelled it out. And I'm just like, dude. Guard continues with we're a tractor truck garage. Our business, a part of the garage is literally a 20-foot by 24 square, 2 desks, 2 computers, and 4 filing cabinets and a small coffee table. Our boss has been on leave lately since he got knee surgery. Ouch. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And after having a tire rim land on it, ow, and he'll be out for the next few months. So we have to put up with her because she's the one in charge. Pisses me off a lot because one of the oldest guys, Montgomery, not actually his name, has more experience than the other 7 of us put together, especially with business stuff. And our boss chose this new lady over him. Bruh. I need a button for that. Bruh. Do I have another one for this? Oh, for the boss, I have one.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Because the whole thing's going to go to shit. And he continues with, he's been working there for 17 years, which is literally the same amount of time as the boss. And he chose this lady who had a pretty resume and used to work at O'Reilly Auto Parts store beforehand instead of the guys who's been with him for 17 years. It's pretty fucked. Yes. Yep. And that is not the way, I like it. And I'm sure every time they leave, they're just screaming,
God f***ing damn it!
Because she's sitting there saying,
You will respect my authority!
and pretty soon she keeps going up and you're going to say,
Game over, man. It's game over.
ugh. Let's see. Let me throw another one on here while I recheck what I'm doing. War Sniper sitting perfect for that. Chopper go wee. You just don't want to be on the chopper when it goes wee. Because, well, not the wee part. That's fine. It's the part that you don't want to deal with. Lena says, could pixies have gone into another dimension? It's possible. I mean, look at CERN. They're opening up portals all the time over there. People don't realize it, but that's what's going on. And that's one of the things that you're not supposed to talk about. The smartest, I don't know if you guys seen this, so let me back up a little bit. One of the smartest people in the world, this kid is only, I think he's like 15, 16 years old now. He was so smart that he actually built his own 0-point generator when he had just turned 14 years old. He went over some of the math and everything else when it came to CERN. And even he on the interview was like, oh yeah, they're doing portals because that's exactly what the math is saying. And some of the terms just go, right over my head. So whatever. But still, I was able to follow close enough along and come to find out when you actually look at certain times that they're doing certain things with the collider, and then you literally have videos of what looks like a swirling vortex or over the collider, and you're like, okay, have you guys ever watched any science fiction movies, you dumb bastards? Certain things you just don't want to fuck with. That being said, they end up opening a dimension and start bringing in something particularly nasty, then we're in trouble. Hopefully not something that comes from The Mist, which, by the way, is a pretty lousy movie. It wasn't a very good book. Stephen King has very much lost his edge over time. Chris here saying, it just dawned on me with everything going on in the world that the reason the younger kids are the way they are is because they don't know how it was before everything got crazy. It's actually true. That's one of the key things, though, is unlike everybody here, they never learned how to live without the noise. Okay. Even me, sometimes if I'm out working, I like to have a podcast or a story or something playing in the background so that I can, just kind of let my mind work, and my mind never actually rests. A lot of us, we've grown accustomed to the noise. It's gotten bad though. When you get accustomed to the noise, you can't focus without it. And a good example of this is all those little YOLOs on TikTok who can only make a video if they're driving in their cars. They have to be driving. They have to be doing something. They cannot just be sitting still to make the video. They have to have some sort of background noise somewhere, somehow. Because of that, they cannot focus without the noise. And it's just because of that, they don't, when everything gets quiet, they just lose complete focus. You watch them, they start freaking out like, oh, what the fuck? I gotta pull my phone out, man. It's not even just the addiction to the phone. It's just the way it is. Now, a lot of things are actually going against the younger kids. I actually had the same conversation with my nephew. He was talking about how expensive it is to even get an apartment. How if he does get an apartment at what he's getting right now paid, he's going to have like 3 roommates so they can split the rent and split the utilities. And so he'll have enough for his phone and maybe internet service, and that's it. And he might have to share a room with somebody. I'm like, well, yeah, starting out, that's expected that you share, expenses with folks, even if you have a loft apartment. I actually knew a woman when she moved out, she and 2 of her friends actually shared a bed in a loft apartment for about 1.5 years. When I asked if she knew exactly how many months, she goes, I don't know, about 1.5 years. And then finally, one of her friends moved out, but they were still figuring everything out. Of course, they were fresh out of college and they're just on their starter jobs trying to find something. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure that made things really weird when you brought a guy home. They said, oh no, if we went out with a guy, the guy paid for a hotel or took her back to his place, because they would not do that shit. Apparently she made that mistake one time and will never do it again. I'm like, yeah, I would hope you wouldn't do it again. Apparently it wasn't what you're thinking, guys. It was a big screaming match about one wanted just to sleep because they had to be up early in the morning, and the other one wanted, well, something. And you know what? I'm done. I'm not even gonna go over that. Let's see. Erica says, to Leonid, the Celtic myths and legends, the mounds over there are access points between our world and the other worlds. Then there's Avalon, Islands of Summer, and many others. You are correct. And before I jump into 3i Atlas, let me check my notes here. And was I there? Was I here? I don't know where I was. 70. Did I do that one? I did do that one. Did I do this one?
Ziel getroffen! Ziel zerstört! Recon report, enemy spotted.
Always duck once you fire. Get behind cover because you've already given away your position. Anyway, we have Leonid here. He says, I think they've said that 3i Atlas started to accelerate and they don't know how. Chris saying it did. Now, I personally don't have a guarantee lock on this because I keep getting different things. I keep hearing that it did a flip and burn. I hear that the tail is turned because of the direction it is facing the sun. I've heard that there's things falling off of it. I've heard that things came off it and crashed on Mars. I can't verify that because there's nothing coming out of NASA. Now, is it possible that some sort of gas pocket burst in its bow, so to speak, and it's slowing it down? Possibly. And I don't know what's going on with 3i Atlas. There's so much going on. They say there's different energy signatures coming out, different metallics coming off of it, what it's potentially made of, how it's acting. I'm like, of course we're not going to know anything. They shut down the goddamn government, which is a little suspicious. I just hope by the end of the day with this, they're not saying, gotcha, bitch, and saying that, yeah, now here's our new alien overlords. That would be bad. Chris also saying it also changed directions to possibly hit Earth. Let's hope not, because I've actually crunched the numbers myself, and that is just a whole bunch of yikes. Because of what the majority of 3i Atlas is made out of is extremely hard, and it's It's a type of nickel that is resistant to the heat of it coming through our atmosphere, which means if it does hit this planet, it's going to be mostly intact. I say mostly because it might rip part of it off, but you're going to change from one large object into many small ones, which could be worse depending on where it lands. Now, that being said, depending on where it hits, if it does hit, will change everything. If it lands somewhere in the Atlantic, there's going to be a resulting tsunami. If it's in the shallows, yes, you will get a dust cloud, but anything deeper than that, and all it's going to do is flash boil. And before it can spit up all that ash, you're going to have all the water rushing back in. And then there's just going to be this huge, massive splash of water. It's going to grab a lot of that dust and pull it back down. Okay, it's just going to be this giant hunk of mud. Maybe it'll even flood, an actual mud flood, hint, hint, and spray across everywhere, right across the face of North America or Africa, you know, getting all that squirt all over the place. And I don't know how many ways I can do this joke, but I'm running out of ideas. But if it hits the deeper portions, it's simply going to just sink to the bottom. It will still cause a tsunami, but you're afraid to get wet. You know, it's crazy. But I don't know where it's landing yet. Okay, originally it was going to be off the coast of California, which is going to be right on the Pacific Ring of Fire, which would be bad, which would be very, very bad for everybody. And I don't just mean the US, I mean everybody. Because at that point, the amount of shockwave that would actually go across the Pacific would create a tsunami roughly anywhere from 300 to 1,300 feet tall. That would be enough to wipe out most of, actually, no, all the east coast of Australia. The Philippines would be almost wiped clean. Japan is fucked. Taiwan surprisingly would survive, but that's because they got that big mountain range on the east side. They'd still flood, but they'd be doing a lot better. Anything that passed by and hits China, they're beyond screwed. You know, it's just bad. So anyway, on that lighter note, let me throw one of these up, like, say, this one. Leonid's up here saying, my favorite character in the Handyman Isekai is the old wizard. He is a dirty old man. I only saw a couple clips with him, but he's like desperate to get laid. And then like he dies or something and something bites his dick off or something. I don't know what the hell goes on with it. It's just like went over my head. Let's see. Leonid also says, I also seen a new commercial about a household robot named Neo. Yep. I don't really know if people want to pay $500 a month for some person to remote control their robot maid. Honestly, until that robot maid looks something like, oh, I don't know, this, then yeah, they can fuck right off. Because honestly, I can clean up my own place. I can cook my own meals. I'm good. And yeah, the thing's slower than all hell, too. I mean, yeah, if you're dealing with somebody who's elderly, it'd probably work well. However, right now, it's a very, 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 very niche market. They're better off selling these robots to Amazon. Oh, wait, they did. And now, like, was it 30,000 people are going to lose their jobs? And like I said, it's going to make us all obsolete eventually. Or not obsolete, but put us out of a job eventually. Eric is here saying, Mercy's accent is based off the transatlantic. Okay, so kind of a mostly European, but a mix. Okay, I'll take that. See, Leonid says, they say that you can't build on the fairyland without the permission. They're going to be pissed. That depends on what. Now, I've actually read different things on that. The majority of time, yes, you are 100% correct. However, I've also heard ones that said you can build on the fairyland. However, you have to follow certain guidelines. Like you cannot dig a well. You have to bring up your own water. They don't want you digging into the land at all. I'm guessing because that's where they're hiding, and they don't want you, drive a giant drill bit into their home. That would be bad. I mean, I'm sure somebody would like to drill into a ferry, but that falls under something else. Let's see. War Sniper says, last week, Sin, we talked about snapping wings with going fast. I send you a clip of what's happening. It was a funny mail. I don't remember getting that. I honestly, War Sniper, I don't remember seeing that one at all. I saved everything. I don't remember seeing that one. So anyway, let's how about say
Enemy spotted.
Ziel getroffen!
Attention to the map.
Ziel ausgeschaltet!
I swear, whatever pilots are on that game, they don't realize if you're popping flares, turn off your fucking afterburners. I actually saw him crank it up right there just as he's popping flares. I'm like, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit. You're going to get... There he goes. Anyway, Erica jumps in, says to Leonid, and there's no longer fairy doctors or sayers to help with the deal, too. Are you talking seers or sayers? Because those are two different, very, very different things. So if there are any, or if there are, they're kept close by governments to keep it to themselves. Yeah, I believe that one. Chris also says, if it makes contact with the land, the west coast of the United States, somewhere near South Carolina or California. Yes, that was the original trajectory. It's literally right off the coast of San Francisco, I believe it was. There's an island that's out there that's fairly large. It's literally just broke off from the continent a little bit. And that was going to be bullseyed. If that one's bullseyed, the tsunami isn't going to be as large. However, the resulting or the impact itself, the shock wave is going to cause a lot of problems. It's not just going to be the sound wave. It's not just going to be the blast wave. It's not even going to be just the dust. It's going to be the fact that it's going to be landing right on the Pacific Ring of Fire. And you can say goodbye to the San Andreas Fault because that son of a bitch is going to shake so freaking hard. It's going to be ringing bells over in Boston because it's going to be sending a shockwave all the way across. If it forces the New Madrid fault line, New Madrid fault line to actually blow, and that one's over by Kentucky and Tennessee. When the last time that one shook, it actually made the Mississippi River go backwards. I'm not even kidding. You can look it up. It made it flow the opposite direction. Everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? And that one was so strong, it did ring church bells in Boston, like all of them at once. And a lot of people thought it was a fucking rapture. But it's going to go right up the fault line. It's going to hit the Cascadia fault line. And the Cascadia fault line sits kind of like this. And when that one pops, oh dear God, it's going to liquefy everything in that area. All the dirt is going to shake so much it will liquefy. It's going to take everything down. Everything. There's not going to be any roads to go through, no tunnels, no nothing. And all your docks are beyond screwed. And then right into British Columbia, that next city, that one there, that's going to be pretty much done. It's going to shake all the way around through Alaska and work its way all the way down past Japan, China, and all those right to Alaska. And yeah, everyone's going to feel it. Are they all going to be world-ending quakes? Absolutely not. It will weaken as it goes. However, they're all connected. And that's just the way that's it. Now, the worst case scenario is once it shakes those, it's going to blow Yellowstone. If it shakes Yellowstone enough to crack open the magma pool that's under there, good fucking night, Irene. We are in so much trouble. Better stock up on toilet paper. Even if you don't have any food to eat, you're still going to shit your pants. Okay. Lena says, if aliens are going to show up, the first ones are probably going to be hybrids and other human-looking aliens. You mean like the Palladians? The Palladians actually look human. They look. They're also known as the Nordics because they actually look tall, blonde, blue-eyed, with perfect skin. And all I can say is, hey, send me some of that text so I can get some of this all cleaned up. You know, I got scars up here. I got scars all underneath the shirt. I would like to have them go. Be nice if I could lose some weight too. You know, maybe they could, you know, purge the junk out of my system. So, yeah, let's see how that goes. We'll just have to wait and see. And before any politician or self-righteous douche nozzle said, well, the world's not ready for it. The world will never be ready for it. You're not ready to become a parent, ever. But you do it anyway. I wasn't ready for my first firefight, but I did it anyway. You know, you can train all you want, you can prep all you want, but you will never, ever, ever be ready. That is just a fact of fucking life. And that is honestly just a way of them saying, we just want to hold on to power as long as we can. Fuck you. Ugh. It irritates me to no end when they try to treat everybody like we're first graders or something. Okay, I need to calm down. I need to relax a little bit here. And let's do... Oh, no, I just did that one. I forgot to cut it off there.
Recon reports enemy spotted.
Of course, if you're watching that with the turret of the tank that just went flying, straight through the uprights, people. Touchdown or field goal, whatever. Leonid's talking about the anime here. He says, yeah, the dog from hell eats the guy's dick off. I don't know. Everybody has to have a suggestive thing. And I'm just going to say that there is a very suggestive scene in that Dispatch game we were talking about. It's kind of a cut scene where you don't actually make a decision. And I shit you not, it's just funny to watch her wake up, pull open the sheet just to look down to make sure she didn't have a accident. I'm sorry, for young kids, how do I put this? They videotaped a kid watching that scene, and he looked as, was she gonna pee herself? Why did she do that? And as the kid's father is there, and he's just dying laughing. It's like, I don't understand what's so funny. I don't know, was it? But it was just the innocence in the kid's voice, and me too. I almost peed my pants. I was laughing so hard. Let's see. Chris says, "What if we are the pre-aliens? Like we were sent to wipe out what was here as like a bioweapon." Well, unfortunately, most weapons are cleaned off when the actual folks using them are done. So let's hope that's not it. Alan says, okay, here's a thought. Okay, hold on. Here's a thought. The channel has approximately 8,950 subs. And most of the people that play the syntax on the story page are the same ones who pay and get the weak shout out, but no one else. Not usually. How about, let me put it this way. If I do it on a standard basis, which YouTube wants me to drop everything at midnight, which usually I just say screw it and do it anyway, then yes, that is a lot of times what happens, because while everybody's just waiting and, it ends up on everybody's feed, especially folks who are, up and about, moving and listening at midnight Eastern Standard Time, which is why we got plenty of people around the world that actually listen. That being said, it's different each time. And I know where you're going, Alan, on this, is those that don't send in a super chat, they would like their shout outs as well. I'm glad you brought it up, and I will still be mentioning folks. However, that is the reason why I didn't just say today's winner is and just give one name. You notice I have the second, third, fourth. If they are in there as well, as long as it's not going crazy, I actually mention other people because I wanted to get the new folks in there. Now, if it gets a bit ridiculous where I'm just doubling up on people all the time, I might pull back on that a little bit. But as it stands now, I just try to mention everybody as much as I can. Most everybody who goes in there, Alan, I know Chris, Brian, actually in the past week, both of them had said, I got it, but don't give me a shout out. Who was in, I'm trying to remember who else it was trying to say it. God damn it. I just had a brain fart. Give me a second. And, yeah, it was Guardian. No, was it Guardian? Maybe it was Douglas. Anyways, I forget. There was at least 2, possibly 3 in the past week who said, I see it, but give it to someone else. So, but yes, I did see your message on that, and I do try to give the shout outs to the new guys as much as I can. Anyway, here's War Sniper talking about videos. It was sent in the email I sent, but I can resend it. Try to if it doesn't come up on the live stream tonight, make sure you resend it. Let's see. Erica say seers like seers like the prophet type, not and it's spelled different, but it's meant seers. Yeah, I understand. Lena's here. Says Pokemon knows their fans with the Gardevoir Pokemon. Their new episode is really nice. Oh, what, they give Gardevoir some tits for a change? I know she's got the hips that don't lie, but yeah, what the fuck? War Sniper says, if it's a meteorite, what is the best spot for it to land where it will do the least damage? Oddly enough, the ice caps. It will be one hell of an explosion, but it's not going to cause any damage to anybody. The ice will blow up, obviously, and it's going to send chunks a long way off, but nobody's living up there. There's no infrastructure to damage. There's no, but if you're talking about the Arctic, depending on where, you might, end a couple of caribou herds or something like that. The Antarctic, unless it takes out the emperor penguins, it's not going to touch anything. It's going to be one hell of a sight to see, but you wouldn't want to be close because it's going to send up a lot of ice a long way. But it's not going to strike actual land. The ice is going to be hard enough that when it comes down superheated and it hits the ice, that ice is going to melt, turn into steam, and actually give a pushback, which is also going to cause a pushback down and kind of a backblast. And it's going to be just this gigantic explosion, which is going to be enough to slow down the meteorite as it's continuing to push through, which is going to be a continuous explosion. It will actually, if you slow it down, I'm sure if you see it, it'll go boom, 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 boom as it's going through. And it's just going to send these huge chunks of ice in the air. By the time it actually touches dirt, it's going to be so deep in there, and there's just going to be so much steam and everything else in the air. It's just going to grab all the dirt and hold it. So that's one of the reasons why that the ice caps are the safest place for it to land. At least for humans. All right. Alan says, excuse me, who does not pay get the shout out because we are faster to see the story. My thought would give the ones who cannot pay get the shout out, so the others 95 or 0.95K get a chance to get a shout. Like I said, if somebody puts it in, I'm still going to mention them. There was one this past week. I'd never seen his name before. It's Clinton something or other. And he's out there. And even though he was actually the second one, I swapped the places. And I hope a certain person, Brian, doesn't take it personal that he ended up having the second place on that one. But yes, I saw your message before, Alan. And I agree with you. Oddly enough, I can actually flip this back on my notes over the past week for the winners. Let's see. You won twice. You got a second place once. Let's see. At least one day, Brian was the only one who submitted anything. Let's see. Before that, Guard and Chris were the only ones who said anything. It was you and Julius that one day. And there a lot of people just aren't putting it in. So I don't know what to do in this situation. I'm at a little bit of a loss because I got to give it out to somebody. Yeah, I could see that one. You know, you get your one shout out a week. That wouldn't be too bad. I just have to chart it really good. All right, I'm gonna go into here. Where was I? 80. What's this? All right, who gave him the infinite ammo glitch? Seriously. No, not seriously. I'm joking. But yeah, if you're just firing at some hunk of metal, that's probably what's going to happen. Lenient's up here says, well, maybe gray aliens and their hybrid species work to either one of them works. Now, I did actually make a story based on multiple species trying to claim Earth at the same time. And actually, it was I didn't say who else it was, but the Palladians were the one that got shot down that the main character of the story actually showed up to. And the Earth's own hidden technology came into play. You know, it's, yeah. That was, I did do a story on that one. I don't remember the name of it, or else I'd tell you. Okay, Brian's here. He mentions that it's the 1811-1812 earthquake at New Madrid, Missouri. That was the epicenter. Absolutely correct. And that's why it was called the New Madrid fault line, because they didn't even realize there was a fault line there. You can actually see from the sky, it shook so bad, it liquefied the ground so much that they had sand spouts actually sprayed sand like 300 feet in the air and just spread it out all over the ground. Stuff still doesn't grow in it. That you can actually just see it. It's spotty, just random spots down the fault line. It's kind of creepy. I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but I've seen plenty of video of it. All right, War Sniper. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this. He says it's in the same mail with the turret toss. Came from, okay, you know what? It might not have downloaded. Let me put some notes down with turret toss video. Okay, I'll look it up after the show. Maybe I'm missing it. Or actually, you know what? Let me double check one little thing here. I didn't mark the turret toss, so dang it. 84. Oh, there's one missing. Okay. For some reason, it didn't download onto my feed here. I'll look it up because there's something. Wait a minute. Was it this one? You know, boom, headshot. Anyway. Okay. Sorry, I got my notes. I'm getting pulled in different directions here. See, Lena says, in the short Pokemon episode, the guy slapped his Gardevoir like he was doing a high five after she saved him and when she evolved into waifu version. Ooh, there's a waifu version? I mean, I know they make her kind of sexy, at least they try to, even though she's literally like olive oil there on the top side. And, you know, you don't want to give her a hug. She's got that spike sticking out of her chest. I mean, seriously, never get on top. Or hell, if she's on top and she falls forward, you're dead. You're very, very dead. War Sniper says, I might send more AA videos because hating planes is a running joke now in the community. Yeah, well, that's why I put it in the thumbnail, because you sent me the ones with the artillery shell taking out all those biplanes and bombers. Guard continues with Magnum 170 shells into that thing, and it was still just standing. Well, sometimes that happens. I mean, I can't take down a tank with a 22, no matter how many rounds I put into it. Worse never said. Sin, the wing snap video, its title, you know what? Hold on. Wing snap. It's either that or, you know, I think it's this one here. Yep, that was a Su-27 missing part of its wing. Oddly enough, you would think it would have enough balls to push itself forward, but it's not as rugged as an A-10. A-10 can fly missing one engine and half a wing, and it still goes. The Russian stuff just doesn't have enough on it. But yeah, that was it. I thought I missed it, but whatever. Let's see. Lena says, I know that his Gardevoir girlfriend lives in his room after he quit going to the Pokemon Championship and then start working as a mailman. That's interesting. Who's working as a mailman, him or the Pokemon? Let's see. Those guards here. So something that's a bit messed up is that everybody seems to overlook is the fact that the spike in her chest is actually part of her heart. Yeah, let that sink in. That's horrifying. That's so horrifying. I'm going to just throw this up on the stage because I don't want to even think about that. A heart outside the chest? That's fucked up. Lena says, Gardevoir spike is kind of like her magical organ, similar to the heart, so it's probably fine. You can hug her. I'd still be questionable on that. You know, this last thing I need is to get skewered. And looks like we're actually running short on comment section, so let me check the media assets here. Let me also check my notes because I wanted to make sure I put everything out. And did I do this one? Yep, that was a headshot. I just forgot to write that down. Let's see, there's also... Okay, now I see where that screwed up. Okay, when they labeled or when they got downloaded, they scrambled, so it wasn't in the exact order the one I'm looking at. That's where that comes from. Sorry about that. Lena continues. He says, kind of both. His Pokemon girlfriend travels with him in his mail van. I only got 2 words for that. In not this order, head and road. And I'm just like, okay, why not? I'm not even that thirsty. I'm chugging that down. Anyways, it looks like we have not only finished up our comments section, but let me double check in the media assets. It appears that I have done all of them here. Yep, I did those early on. I've been going down the list here. And yep, that's all of them for tonight. So, barring any more comments coming in, War Sniper jumping in. Gardevoir is really become the NSFW women of Pokemon. She? She's a real lady, is she? She's a pretty one, is she? Yeah, she definitely got Rule 34. And that's one of the things actually with the dispatch, like I said, that's going to be Rule 34 really quick. I kind of don't want it to be. And speaking of Rule 34, guys, just to remember, it's November. Every year, the challenge is on. I am still king of the castle. Okay? Y'all know what that is. That is the No Nut November, which is only to help you reset your cortisol levels and your dopamine inside the head. Because if you have really bad brain fog, a lot of times that's from dopamine. And one of the kickers is, believe it or not, you get too much dopamine from watching shorts. And I don't mean watching somebody else's shorts. I mean watching shorts on like YouTube and TikTok and stuff like that, because you're constantly getting micro hits over and over and over again. And again, your body starts getting addicted to that, and then it can't focus on anything. It's like you're walking around in a fucking haze. Just do yourself a favor. In some way, shape, or form, try to fix your dopamine receptors on that. And one of the key things when this because I've done this before, I've done this plenty of times, is say you start going to the gym instead of spending your time watching then you're going to find out in about 2 weeks, you're going to get this huge freaking, okay, War Sniper, you win, by the way. I'm not even going to touch that, literally. But anyway, you're going to get this huge bonus. You're going to get this huge dump of dopamine. I did this the first time it happened. I freaked out because for some reason I was lifting so much so fast. Everybody told me to slow down. They thought I was going to hurt myself again. I was like, no, for some reason, this is light. And I'm just throwing the weights up over my head over and over and over again. And I'm literally standing there doing overhead press with 45-pound plates on either side. And I'm just like, this is a personal best. Holy shit. I'm hitting 25, 26. I'm just keep going. And eventually it got to the point where my arms just dropped onto my shoulders. I re-racked it real quick, but I felt awesome. I'm just like, I'm ready to, just about screaming. Like, I still remember one of the guys came up and said, "Hey, Sergeant, are you juicing?" I'm like, no, I just feel great. It's like, okay, you don't act like this. But you can get some really good dopamine hits from doing the positive stuff. And if you just kind of stay away from the type of material and you don't sit there and swing yourself every, hour or so or whatever, it takes about 2 weeks for you to start to feel the reset, but then you're in the flat line. Just be careful of that, because that one can knock you off your motivation real quick. So, seeing that we're almost out, just a reminder, guys, make sure that you are still subscribed. And if you could I appreciate it. Hype function still be there. And I'd appreciate if you guys hit that every time you come into the channel. I'd very much appreciate that. Hold on. Where's a good one? God damn it. But still having an issue with people getting unsubscribed. I've gotten at least one message in the past week and 2 messages last week of people that said, I don't know why, but I got unsubscribed to your channel. And it was kind of weird. So just double check. That being said, it looks like everybody's just about done tonight. So, safety brief, guys. You guys know, if you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, by all means, kick their fucking ass, because it's better to wake up the next morning and go, hey, fucker, you fell, than waking up the next morning and saying, hey, fucker, you're in the morgue. Also, it's fun to explain to the cops, because most cops will see this as you're trying to make sure they don't do anything stupid, and then they're just like, whatever, you guys, you drive, you sleep it off, and it's all that fun stuff. Also, just remember, it is hunting season. Like I said, I went and got my dose, so I'm not out in the forest. However, if you're in any place that still does hunt, they're going to be spooking the stuff up early in the morning, pre-dawn. So just be careful on the roads, okay? It is very, very, very important. So, yeah, you want to smack the lady? What, you don't know Ivy? When's the last time you played Soul Calibur? Everybody here, except for this one, is Soul Calibur. Well, yeah, the one on the left, that's from... No, that's Soul Calibur. No, that's Darkstalkers. But Ivy from Soul Calibur. There's Sophitia from Soul Calibur. There's... shit, I had her name written down. This one here, you know how hard it was to get this one? Yeah, that's Tira. And then you got Taki. You know, the only ones I'm missing right now is the last 4, like Cassandra and whatnot. But they'll be there next week. Let's see. Gar says, fun fact, there's a playful little option you can do that can make Golem a dad of a kaiju. What? I didn't know that if you've done anything like that, show how things are going with him in the kaiju, but it's funny. Okay. Lost it. Anyway, also guys, you know, be careful. Don't do any of the hard stuff, guys. I know you guys are smarter than that, but hey, your friends might not be. And if they're doing that by themselves, they got problems. And if you're doing without me, that's just rude. So aside from that, again, also protect yourself at all times, and make sure if the little soldier's going into the bush, make sure he wears his poncho, because it gets wet in the bush if you know what you're doing. All right, so this is going to be the end for me tonight, guys. Thank you, everybody, for being here the entire time, and I will see you all next time on Syntax Live. This is your host, and I'm punching out.